Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at an interesting game in the Z31, one of sacrifice for victory. But before we do that, let's hear from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. Its light, sleek, and industrial aesthetic provides a minimalist design with maximized functionality. They make the perfect gift for Father's Day. It holds up to 12 cards plus room for cash. There's over 30 colors and styles to choose from, including forged carbon fiber and topographic, just to name a few. If that wasn't enough to win you over, check out the over 40,000 5-star reviews. Each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. The Ridge team is so confident that you'll like it. They'll let you test drive it for 45 days. You can send it back for a full refund if you don't absolutely love it. They've completely redone the design since the original Kickstarter, with 4 new materials, dozens of new colors, and a much nicer logo. Get 15% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/Notser. That's ridge.com/Notser and use code DAD15. Link is in the video description. All right, so the Z31 doesn't immediately jump out as successful or strong in any format, but this game hopefully will be impressive nonetheless. Let's talk about the build. For my commander, I take incoming fire alert first, last stand, survivability expert, concealment, improved main battery range, adrenaline rush, preventative maintenance, and then improved main battery reload. And for the module system, we use main armament protection, improved protection for steering and propulsion, improved main battery accuracy, and acceleration. I really like this build. It works really well, and hopefully I can showcase it. It's really all about the guns on the Z31. You really have nothing else. Literally nothing else. It makes it kind of difficult because if it's a situation where you have to deal with multiple problems, it's kind of not in your best interest to overextend because you lack tools. You have to play very cautiously and very methodically in order to put yourself in a position where you can be successful, but others cannot. So we obviously spawn. This is standard battle. Standard battle is not the kind of battle format that I live for, but we're going to do the best with what we have. So I felt like I was moving too far forward. I didn't want to overextend and run into death. It does look like a significant portion of the enemy team is headed to the south side and it's going to play around these islands. So I don't really want to get involved in that kind of engagement. Now you'll notice I don't have Superintendent. I didn't announce that I did on my commander skill, and why don't I? Because I just don't really like it. It is a late game skill. It doesn't benefit you at all early game, because obviously you'll have the charges to use early game. And yeah, 4 charges of smoke sounds better than 3, but I can kind of play around 1 fewer charge and strategize around that. And making my ship have better rate of fire and better defensive skills and better information is more valuable to me personally. So as I'm moving to the center of the map, enemy Genizen out, taking a pretty good amount of damage. We're going to pop our smoke. Since there's multiple enemies that are in range, I can pretty much guarantee something is going to be spotted for this full duration of smoke, which I can then take advantage of. That's what I really like to do when I'm in a smoke situation in these ships. When there's not a lot of enemies, it's hard to justify using 1 smoke on 1 specific target. But if there's a handful of them that are seemingly going to be in an area that will be in range when you're in your smoke, it's very high value because you always have a target to potentially fire on. Case in point, enemy Colorado, which is one of the slowest ships in the game, so we know it's going to take him a while to get into cover. I can take full advantage of that. And, broadside AP, the way to go. Someone has asked me, why don't you take the heavy AP shell skill? It doesn't help HE, obviously. And I don't really like its position on the commander skill tree. I feel like there's better skills that are later, that are more expensive, that provide me with more value universally. I think, in my opinion, defensive skills are very important. because the player has the potential to enhance that further, and if you draw out the engagement, it's much harder for an opponent to continuously not make a mistake to take that bit of damage that is the in-game. We end up switching to HE because he is angled very extreme, and we're just going to fire on cooldown. Meanwhile, a bunch of enemy ships are piling up behind the enemy island just to our north, or south side, sorry. We are actually north. And I was saying to myself, okay, well, we lost our smoke, but we pretty much fired the full duration. Give maybe 15 seconds total that we weren't. We got, what, 24,000 damage, 23,000 and change. So it's doing pretty good. Enemy did lose the Boyskovica, so that does free up the middle of the map for me from harassment and spotting. Enemy Gneisenau, he's afraid. He's terrified of my teammates that are on the other side, and he's actually backed up to the middle of the map, thinking, oh, I'm safe here. I can't possibly take damage. Well, that's not true. So initially unload with high explosive, looking for a fire. I really should just switch to AP at this point because every salvo that we don't get damage, and oh yeah, that gun velocity of the 31, it's really bad. But every salvo we don't get fire, it really doesn't give us the value that using AP in that situation. But we did send torpedoes, assuming, oh, there's the fire. He immediately puts it out. How do you know that no other threat is coming, sir? You have no idea what's coming towards you. Our slow sea mines, aka the torpedoes for the German DD, are about to arrive in that location. If it was the Holland torpedoes, probably would have been there 15 times over. And as you can tell, this enemy Gneisenau, he's going to just leave the area. And I'm kind of getting distracted trying to finish this guy off. There's actually a really close enemy ship right in front of us. So I decide, okay, let's just switch over to him and let's pay attention to his guns. Look at the slow traversal of those guns, clearly indicating he wants to shoot us. So I activate smoke in response. I love to play aggressive. I'm not going to apologize for being seen and doing things that might get me killed in other situations, because every chance I get, if I do attack and no one returns fire, then I am not forcing them to react. And, you know, I was afraid that they would react, so that's why I ended up activating smoke. In other situations, I might just freely fire at max range and do a little bit of juking with my improved acceleration. So I decide to send torpedoes ahead of the New York. The New York is also a super slow battleship. Talk about coming at the last possible second. I don't know where he was. Maybe he started to the east side and then he had to go south. But he's in crossfire galore. He cannot get away quick enough. And that's totally true because he's so slow. So I'm just hoping to farm some damage, maybe potentially get torpedoes, but they do lack range in the 31. Everything about the 31 lacks base range, gun velocity, torpedo range, torpedo speed. But you know what? That's okay. We're going to stay positive because we're doing good damage and we haven't taken any so far. And it does look like the intent of the New York is to move away. And I'm also curious where the enemy Italian battleship ended up going, because as I leave the safety of smoke, and I got kind of convenient luck there, the enemy torpedo bomber doesn't end up coming towards me. He's actually going towards my teammates. Oh, are those torpedoes going to land on this guy? I do not know. I end up sending my other set because our first set is slow. And I feel like, okay, this is a base race. Let's go. I'm going over to the enemy base. My teammates are coming, limbing training down into their base and potentially taking out these guys. So I want to try and assist as best I can. And yeah, I don't care. I'm out in the open. If they want to fire on me, they can fire on me. I'm basically a dodge tank for my team. And if you take advantage of your acceleration, you can juke it pretty well. And that's the other reason why incoming fire alert for me is so useful, because I can key off of the reaction of the animation displaying on my screen, and I can juke left or juke right. It is incredibly useful for awareness, active awareness. And we're doing pretty good damage to this enemy New York. Enemy aircraft carrier does come around to us. I don't know if he's trying to attack us, but we are contributing our AA. And, you know, it's humorous to me that no one has had any interest in firing on me. You would be so shocked by how few players actually want to fire on ships that are hard to hit. They would much prefer firing on ships that are easy to farm damage, but provide less value. And this is a great example of it. That's the first ship that I think has actually tried to fire on our position, and we've been spotted for a little bit between aircraft and open fire. So I was like, okay. But you know what I notice? There's nobody on my team on the west side. I do have a friendly, couple friendlies actually, that have already arrived at the enemy's base, and I figure, let's be real, nobody in random battle is actually going to go back and care about winning or losing. They're just going to be trying to farm damage. So I decide, let's head back. And in doing so, we actually see an enemy Omaha, which is a great target. Super light cruiser. These 150s easily citadel it if I actually hit the citadel, so we need to give a little bit more lead. And obviously while we're doing this, we're headed back towards the enemy base. And that does look like better positioning. And yes, 11,000 damage. If we get another one, he's dead, which would be amazing. It's really just, there's just something so satisfying to get those broadside citadels. But that is not going to solve this problem. We've already lost our aircraft carrier. We don't have anyone defending the base, save for the friendly Colorado, which is dying very soon. If not right now, yeah. Nobody's at our base. I am quite literally the closest friendly ship to the friendly base. And that kind of scares me, especially considering the enemy DD, last known position, he's the one starting the capture. And there's also a Surrey that's closing quickly to our base. So I'm just having to go back. I have to. Meanwhile, the enemy team also has volunteers that are firing, and they still have their aircraft carrier. So they do have the ability to spot for their team and allow someone on their team to contest. So I have to try and contest for my team. Hopefully the base race will go in our favor, but it looks like I'm all alone here. So I gotta do the most bold play possible. I have to sail into the friendly base and contest with my body. That's probably gonna end up killing me, but at this rate, it's not looking good. The enemy definitely has an advantage because there's just no one close enough to contest. And with the enemy aircraft carrier, they have that extra spotting that is available that, you know, so few actually friendly ram the aircraft carrier to knock them out. That's actually beneficial because that does take out some of the spotting available. But the enemy team already over 50% captured on our base. So I'm feeling kind of panicked. So I'm like, okay, we just have to start contesting as we're approaching. We're close enough that we should be able to get there before dying. Initially fire AP, which does pretty good. But the enemy DD that's unspotted is still capturing the base at a faster rate than my team is actually capturing the enemy base. So I'm like, I just have to sail directly into the cap. And preemptively, I put some fish in the water, hopefully to land on the Surrey or something. And because he opens up his broadside, I'm of course going to look for a citadel, but I'm just not getting it. We do actually land a torp, which is a big benefit. And I am continuing to get into the cap. Now we are actually where I need to be. So I need to try and survive as long as possible. He has hydro. I can't pop my smoke and just sit there. I need to kill this guy. And I can't buy a citadel, man. I am just desperately trying to kill this guy quickly so I could potentially get into smoke and maybe hide myself, but we just can't. But no one is actually contesting my team, and the cap is actually going in our favor as long as... Oh, God, he's really that low. As long as I just get the last kill. Mutual destruction accomplished. And, oh, it looks like it looks like my team is going to win the base race. And it's all because I contributed in that moment to contest for my team enough that the remainder survived. And I love this kind of format for this specific reason. It creates this dynamic game that you just can't do in domination, but most standard battle is just way too campy. Not in this game, though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing me do 104,000 in the Z31. If you enjoyed it, please like the video. If you disliked it, dislike it. You could choose to subscribe to my channel. We do World of Warship videos, top on the team. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you and have a wonderful day.